Welcome. Today we continue with MongoDB, the first session, and today we will discuss how you write data, how you insert data, how you update your data, how do you query data, and finally how you're removing data or deleting data from your set. So with this lesson, you will get the basics on how to deal with your data and start doing your API endpoints to create, update, delete, and get. First, we go to create. So, okay, you got either you have some structure or not. Either you use Mongoose or you're not using Mongoose. So, the first thing, as we saw in chapter 1, is you need to define whether you're going to have a structure or not, whether you're going to have the dbref with the IDs, and then using the populate from the libraries in order to get all the documents and build the complete document, or you're just going to rely on your own IDs, and then you're going to make your own queries so you optimize getting everything. So that's important because when you are writing data, if you're not having a structure, you just can't write anything. For example, if you have an application version, and for the version 1, you're writing the data in some structure, and for the version 2, you're writing the different one, it's okay. In Mongo, you can have documents with different structure into the same collection. So you just, it's pretty easy to get into changes like that, although you can get into problems. But that way you handle with them when you are getting the output from the database and you're building the API. So if you don't have those fields in the database because some documents just don't have it, because they are kind of new and you don't want to update the whole MongoDB for them, so you can start defining in your API output, and then you will just say, okay, this field is null because it's not in the database. So it's not a big deal if you don't have a field in the database, of if the field in the database is having a different format. When you are serializing data, then you can do it. So there's many ways to work in Mongo. So the first thing you do is, well, you're writing, right? You can have an API endpoint, which is writing a customer, for example. So you need to write a customer. So you will just say, okay, insert 1, and then you will send the object, the document. You will send, since this is the first time you're building it, then you're sending, all the data you got at that time in an object format. So you will have strings, you will have integers, you will have list of objects, you will have list of IDs, list of text fields, whatever have you can, you can have any structure. Or you can say, okay, I'm building a batch or a worker job, and I just want to insert many fields because I'm processing 1,000 fields, and I just want to write them in a single query because I want a very optimized application. So that way you will just, as before, you will say insert many, although instead of sending one object, you're actually sending a list of objects. And that's it. Since there's not validation stuff in the database layer, it's not like you're going to get from database invalid format or whatever, because you can have many different types in each document. Each document can have its own structure. So when you're writing data, you don't get so much that problem of integrity errors or that kind of thing as you do in the SQL databases. Okay, you got the ID field. So when you're creating, if you don't send anything in the ID, Mongo will create an ID for you and you will get it back. For example, as the insert 1 example, that you get the result. There in the result, you're gonna get the ID and then you processing. But in some other cases, you just want to tell the ID because the ID is being used in another system and you already got it, or it's in another collection, it's in another table, whatever. So you can also send the ID when you're creating data. Okay, read. You will do this when you need to get the items by field values. Okay, you just use the find operation. And then you say, okay, I want the status to be in a list of either A or D. And then that's going to give you all the items with a status A or status D. So you can do that kind of thing. As you see, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So you can also get an item by ID. An ID is unique. So this query will get you one item. This kind of operation, you can use it when you're having an API endpoint that is just getting an item. You're getting a customer, or you're getting a expense, or you're getting a file, or you're getting whatever. So that's handy because it's pretty simple and easy. You just get things by ID. By the way, yeah, the IDs, of course, are indexed. So the best thing is not to deal with the slugs or other fields because you will need to index them if you have a big data set. So the best thing is just to deal with IDs because they are indexed and they are pretty unique, and you can have it, you know, with a different kind of format. Okay, what do you do when you have subdocuments? For example, you have a document and then you have a subdocument which is having, you know, that kind of thing. Imagine you having labels for X file or whatever. So those labels you want to be an object, okay? So, well, you can structure in the way you want because if maybe you want for each label more data. So then how do you search for label field? Well, example, you just use the find operation and then you just searching, for example, size will be the subdocument and UOM will be the field there inside. So you're just searching in that subdocument, the in. So you're just using the dot, pretty simple. Okay, we come to update. With the update one, we'll update the first document. You just send your data you want to update, and it's just gonna search for all the criteria, and when it's finding one field, it's gonna update it. Or maybe you just want to update many documents that have some criteria. You will do with, instead of update one, you will do it with update many, and you can use partial documents. But you don't really need to send all the fields you got. I mean, all the fields that is inside there in the document. You just can update the things that change, not everything. So that's pretty handy. So what happens is you want to update the whole document and you don't want to do partial updates. You will use replace one. So in case you just want to replace the document by a new one, you just use that one. So now, okay, we got to the point of saying, how do I delete my data? Okay, in order to, you need to delete many items, then you will hit delete many. You will define the criteria, and this will just delete all the items that have status A. Or maybe you just want to delete one document, which will get the first one. Okay, so it's gonna, this method, this operation is just gonna get the first one, is gonna delete it for you. So that's all. I hope you now have more tools. You know how to define your structure. You know how to define the data visibility. You have some information on Mongoose. Also, you know how to query your data, how to list data, and all the challenges you got. And now with this one, you know how to insert your data, update your data, which is, you know, pretty basic. How to delete any data you need. So now you have all the tools. As always, do more and move faster, and comment below in the comments. I will be really glad to hear back from you on all your experiences dealing with these problems and stuff.